Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be doing episode number 35 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams as the best teams possible for my team in limited and or competitive play based on how much NT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop onto the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 12,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. Starting off with this first team today comes in from Hook. He's got 38,000 MT. He said in his first response that he is no money spent and hasn't played in forever, so he's contemplating getting the Invincibles pack for Shaq, which I honestly think is a very good idea. This team obviously needs a lot of work. It does look like he just started playing again, but he does have the new Dark Matters, which is very, very good. I think Earl Lloyd is the best of those. I would definitely put him in the lineup. I think Nat Clifton also should have a spot in your team. A guy who's super cheap and still super good is Andre Kirilenko. He's down to like 7,000 MT, which is absolutely insane. Definitely would pick him up for his value. Point guard position, we have McCollum and Luke Walton. I don't love either of those options, especially since you're probably going to run Chuck Cooper off the bench as well to use those free cards. Carmelo at the 4 is okay, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. Carmelo at the 4 isn't terrible, but I just don't love it, I guess. I'm not totally sure. We got something like that, though. And then you said you wanted to get Shaq, which I think is honestly a great idea because he's an incredible card. Another card I would add is Peter Goodmanson. I think I'm just looking for the super cheap budget options that are really going to help out your team a lot, I think. I don't love CJ McCollum. I really think you should probably just redo your point guard position. I would say temporarily, just in terms of size and value, use that free level 1 Josh Giddey as your backup point guard, and then not this one, the level 1 one, which is completely free. I think temporarily he could be a fine backup point guard, not bad. And then starting point guard, I'm honestly not totally sure who I'd recommend. I think probably would go Jalen Rose-ish. I think he's cheap enough where you could get him. I think you could basically build this team and put Carmelo off the bench maybe. Who is a good power forward that you could pick up? I don't think Naz Muhammad is all that good. I'm just trying to think about who your options could be as like a super cheap option at the power forward position. I'm sure there's an Opal out there somewhere who's super. Oh, you know what I just do? Just do something like this. Here we go. We'll just throw in Tyson Chandler back here. Something along these lines. We're buying a bunch of super cheap budget cards, guys like Jalen Rose, AK, and Tyson Chandler. In addition to using a bunch of these free cards still, you can get that pack for Shaq. You got something like this. This is still not the best team in the world, but it's definitely a significant upgrade over what you're working with right now, and I think it really sets you up for a lot of success in the future. But next squad today comes in from Big Birdie. He said they got him. He got banned. His budget team's atrocious and he chips. Actually, his budget team's not that bad, I'll be completely honest. We got at least some good pieces with your 2 through 5 here with Lloyd, Clifton, Walton, and Smits. Donovan Mitchell and CJ McCollum, you need some size at your point guard position. You have 69,000 MT. I don't know if you want to spend it. Karan Butler I think is good. Chuck Cooper I don't love. Thurl Bailey I do like a lot. Amari is okay. Carmelo is okay. And then Jeremy Grant, I wouldn't really use any of these cards, to be honest. I think in terms of guys that I would keep, let's just reset this real quickly. I think Earl Lloyd can stay. I think, again, I'm probably going AK at the 3 or a Thurl Bailey or somebody like that. I guess either one would be fine. Backup 2, I would go Chuck Cooper, right? Is that? I'm having to think a lot. No, you have Karan Butler. Okay, Karan Butler's better than Chuck Cooper. So we're going to go Karan. Backup 2. Backup 3, we're going to go Nat Clifton. Backup, or starting 4. Do you have a starting 4? You have Bill Walton. Bill Walton is great at the 4. Amari Stoudemire is okay as well, so I guess we can leave him in there as the backup 4 for a budget squad. I don't think he's bad. And then your starting 5 was Rick Smits, who's obviously one of the best power centers in the game, so that's a pretty easy upgrade right there, or a guy that I would definitely keep in the lineup. You need a center. Again, I'm going to recommend a guy who I recommend a lot, but it's Peter Goodmanson. And then point guard position, I think Donovan Mitchell, especially since he's a reward card as well. He's fine as your backup point guard, but you need some size and you need some really good quality point guard play at your starting PG. Go get yourself a Hito Turkoglu. Something like this for this 10 minutes. Not a ton of upgrades, but it's a couple guys added in there, and Hito, AK, and Peter. I think if you add those 3 dudes to the team that you have already, sell everything else, your team's going to be looking super duper solid. Next squad today comes in from Joey. He's got 500,000 MT. He's got Luka, Big Z, Zion, Bill Walton, Yao Ming, Ben Simmons, Earl Lloyd, Sean Kemp, Taco Fall, Artist Gilmore. I like this squad. I think really across the board, it's very, very good. There's one guy that I would recommend upgrading to for sure, and that's adding Jonathan Isaac. Add him at the 3. For his price, he's one of the best small forwards in the game, even not just for his price, just overall. He's one of the best small forwards in the game. That's a card I would 100% focus on adding at the 3, then bring Zion off the bench, sell Sean Kemp. Outside of that, it's kind of up to you if you want to spend the MT on some other upgrades, because you could spend some MT picking up a guy like an interdimensional Tim Thomas and replacing Big Z with Tim. I would potentially consider that. I think that's definitely an upgrade, but it depends if you want to spend the extra, 250,000 MT or however much Tim Thomas is going for. So it really depends just what you want to do with your team. But I think the only upgrade that I'd guaranteed do is Jonathan Isaac. I think he's a pretty significant upgrade over Sean Kemp, and for me, that's just a pretty clear upgrade that I would personally make, but it's up to you if it's the type of upgrade that you actually want to make for your own squad. So that is that for that team. Next squad today comes in from Ray. He's got 650,000 MT after he sells everything. He's got Shaq. He's got Rick Spencer. His front court is incredible. Off the bench, he's got playoffs Jokic in an optional version. Doesn't have him evoed. Hakeem, Thurl Bailey, Radiant T-Mac at the 3 for some reason. Luka, Scottie Pippen. I mean, this team's really good in some areas, and it's just kind of weird in others. Okay, so let's rebuild this team just a little bit. You have a lot of great pieces and a lot of guys that I do want to make sure you continue to use, but we got to redo things just a little bit to improve the squad, I think. So your 1, 2, 3, your 1, 2, 4, and 5, I think are great. I do not like this Giannis card, and you do have him auctionable. I would certainly sell him. No doubt about that at all. Backup shooting guard, we can go with Radiant Tracy McGrady. I still love that card. And then SGA backup point guard is fine. Although I would personally, just me, I would go get Hito Turkle. I would go get Hero. That's just what I'm going to recommend. Because it's my video, that's what I'm going to recommend. Thurl Bailey is a hero card. He is great. I am very cool with him still running it at the back of small forward. He's my backup small forward still. Jonathan Isaac, though, is the guy that I would start at the small forward position for his price, for how good he is. That's an easy upgrade as well. Now, you need a center. I would go get a Yao Ming. Whether you want to pay a little bit more for the dark matter, go get the opal. Either one. Just go get yourself a Yao Ming. That would be the one expensive purchase that I would make. And then last but not least, I would probably go Marc Gasol at the backup power forward position, just in terms of price, being a really good option for super cheap. I think he's a great option for your team. You can also just run a guy like Hakeem or Ivo Jokic and run Jokic. Either one of those guys could also run your backup power forward position at a great amount. And I'd also grind for Artist Gilmore to eventually take over that power forward position as a better reward card. Now, next squad comes in from MK. This is an amazing team. I just think you got a few swaps that I'd make again. At number 1, Sean Kemp for Jonathan Isaac. Number 2, James Harden for a guy like Luka Doncic. So we go Luka, Ben, Pippen, Earl, Bol, Jonathan Isaac, Taco Fall. I don't love Hakeem. I think you could upgrade Hakeem a little bit if you wanted to. And then Yao and Dikembe I'm super cool with. Maybe, I mean, you have 1.7 mil. You know what I actually going to recommend? Go get Shaq. Spend the MT on a Shaq. Shaq at the 4, Taco at the 5, or Shaq at the 4, Yao at the 5, Taco at the 4, Dikembe at the 5. That is a heck of a team. And then you pick up Jonathan Isaac. Outside of that, you don't really got to do anything else. You could pick up a Radiant T-Mac as well instead of Earl Lloyd if you wanted to give yourself a slightly better upgrade at the shooting guard position, but I don't know if you want to spend the MT considering that Earl is already a very, very solid card. But the one guy I definitely would recommend is Jonathan Isaac, and then if you want to spend the MT on a power forward, go get Shaq. He is that good. I love that card. Second to last team today comes in from Peyton. He's got 213,000 MT, trying to save up for an interdimensional Tim Thomas, but he's open for suggestions as well. I mean, you got Steve Smith and Earl Lloyd. The problem with that is that your size is a little bit smaller off the bench between Livingston and Earl. Ron Artest and Steve Smith 6'7", 6'8" is good enough. I would swap out Andre Kirilenko for Jonathan Isaac. I know that's going to cost you an extra, 50,000 MT between selling, after you sell AK and buy Jonathan Isaac, but I think it's worth it. And then I would also pick up a Hero Hito Turkoglu to play off the bench next to Sean Livingston, or next to Earl Lloyd. So you have Ron and Hito, and then you have Steve and Earl, and then you have John Isaac and Thurl Bailey. Outside of that, right now, not any specific upgrades I'd make. I would also probably get Peter Gudmundsson over Hakeem, but that's just me. I really like Peter. I think I'm much higher on him than most people are at this point, so that's one other card I might consider. But for right now, the only main upgrades I want to say are Hito and Jonathan Isaac for this squad. And then the last team today comes in from Ivano. He's got 1.3 million MT and he's nobody spent, so shout out to you. That's a heck of a grind right there. I am going to again say Jonathan Isaac. I mean, I feel like for a guy who's like Jonathan Isaac is so good in this game, I feel like we got to take advantage of him being what 55, 60,000 MT. The card is super cheap and super good. Luka Doncic as well. Throw him in there. T-Mac is incredible. Although if we could get a little bit more size instead of T-Mac, that might be nice. Go get like a interdimensional Tim Thomas. I personally would like that a lot. We run something like this off the bench. You can still run Sean Livingston if you want. I would personally go Hito again. I think Hito is better than Sean Livingston. I really value that size, especially if you're going to have a primary ball handler like a T-Mac. And then we can go Hero Scalabrini off the bench or AK, whoever you prefer. I prefer Scalabrini slightly, but it's close. And then you have Hakeem and Yao. I don't know about Hakeem at this point. I just don't like Hakeem's release that much. Some people seem to like that card a lot. I'm not one of them who loves Hakeem. Taco there is great, and then we have Dikembe as well, so Dikembe is super good. I would go with a Marc Gasol. That's just me. I would go with a Marc Gasol over Hakeem, but that's just my personal opinion. I like his release better. I think he even moves a little bit better. I think he's a better all-around card. But this is about the 10-man that I'd run. The only expensive card you're picking up really is Tim Thomas, because Jonathan Isaac is not that expensive. He's only like 50 to 60,000 MT, which is a crazy affordable price. So this is what I would do with your squad to make it as good as possible, and that is the last team in today's video. So hopefully y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.